I'm Robert Harden. I'm the director of the Sumter County Library, and the Sumter County Library is excited and proud to announce that it will be hosting an exhibit entitled Manifold Greatness, the Creation and Afterlife of the King James Bible, a traveling exhibition for libraries organized by the Folger Shakespeare Library, Washington, D.C., and the American Library Association Public Programs Office. It is based on an exhibition of the same name developed by the Folger Shakespeare Library and the Bodleian University Library, University of Oxford, with assistance from the Harry Ransom Center of the University of Texas to mark the 400th anniversary of the publication of the King James Bible. The traveling exhibition was made possible by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Manifold Greatness will be traveling across the United States, and the Sumter County Library is the only location in South Carolina that will be hosting this exhibit. It is scheduled to be here in July and August of 2012, but we want to start getting the word out so that as many people as possible are aware of this exhibition and will be able to take advantage of this unique opportunity for Sumter County. I'm here with Dolores Pringle, who developed and wrote this grant and the programs for the event. And first of all, I want to thank Dolores for her work on behalf of the library and the community in bringing this exhibition to Sumter County. And if you could just tell us, I know you're excited about this opportunity, but if you could tell us what you feel that this will bring to the Sumter community and how the community will benefit from having this exhibition here in Sumter.
Well, first of all, I think that this exhibit will bring the Sumter community together in more ways than one. We've got so many wonderful churches here in Sumter County, and I feel as if focusing on the King James Bible, all of the churches and the general community as well can come together and celebrate this wonderful book. The other thing that I think that this event can offer to Sumter is a new look at the wonderful language that is embedded in the King James Bible. It is such a strong fusion of history and poetry and language that we sometimes overlook in our day-to-day acquaintance with the Bible. And so it will provide us to help us to take a new look at the Bible and a new approach, especially with our young people. So that coming together and looking at the Bible and finding ways in which especially young people can learn from the language and the poetry and the history that's in that book, I think it's just going to be absolutely fantastic.
We have some lectures that are planned with some scholars presenting about the influence of the King James Bible on the speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes. Dr. King took so many of his speeches directly from the King James version of the Bible. That wonderful language that he used in all of his speeches just flows directly from the King James Bible, and it just made each one of those speeches, especially this the speech that was given at the March on Washington. It was just powerful, and he wasn't the only one. There were others in the movement that also drew upon the King James Bible and made parallels to the King James Bible. And I know you didn't ask me this question, but also authors. A lot of African American authors like Toni Morrison, her books are, draw heavily upon the language from the King James Bible. And I recently had a scholar at the University of South Carolina who will also be presenting, Dr. Patrick Scott, who's an authority on the King James Bible. And he says that the African American community really, really uses the King James Bible. Is one of the groups of people that uses the King James Bible in just constantly more so than maybe other groups. Maybe because it's tradition, and maybe because it's, you know, the old family Bibles. But Dr. King, definitely, his speeches would not have been the same if he had not lifted that language directly from the King James.
We have some other programs that are planned as well. If you could tell us a little bit about some of these. We're doing a quiz bowl that we're planning to develop around Sunday school classes using verses from the King James Bible.
Yes, and I think that that's going to be a lot of fun, and also again a learning opportunity for children, because we hear so many phrases as we go through our everyday lives in this world, and we have no idea that these phrases came from the King James, like, you know, my brother's keeper, I am my brother's keeper, you know, he or she is the salt of the earth. And there's so many phrases like that. So what we plan to do is lift all of those phrases. I mean, there are hundreds of phrases, and lift those phrases, and then kind of in a friendly bowl-like atmosphere, challenge teens to quickly be able to identify the book of the Bible and maybe even the chapter. I don't know whether we might challenge them to that extent, but definitely we will ask them, you know, to cite the book that the saying came, that the phrase came from, and then as a result, the team or the individual will receive a King James version of the Bible for their Sunday school class or for their church. Yeah.
We're also hoping to form a King James choir and present a musical performance, and that'll be held at Patriot Hall. And I should mention that the Sumter County Cultural Commission is one of our partners with this grant, along with the Sumter County Museum. The museum is planning to host an exhibit of family Bibles, and the Cultural Commission, Patriot Hall, is going to be hosting 2 of our programs, and one of those will be this King James choir performance.
Right, and the music that emanates from the Bible is also just extraordinarily beautiful. And so what we would like to do is get the people from the area churches to come together and on a volunteer basis and create the King James Bible choir, the King James Bible choir, and we will have a major performance, as you said, Robert, at at Patriots Hall, and the entire community will be invited in. The event will be free, and again, they will be able to acquaint themselves, or really just familiarize themselves with the beautiful music that can come from the King James.
We're also planning to have Dr. Patrick Scott, the director of the Irvin Department of Rare Books and Special Collections, and distinguished professor of English emeritus at the University of South Carolina Libraries. He's going to be delivering a lecture on the history of the King James Bible and possibly bring some old Bibles, including a 1611 King James Bible, and he said perhaps a 1595 Geneva Bible. Although the exhibit and programs are still several months off, keep checking the Sumter County Library website at www.sumtercountylibrary.org for more information as we get closer to the dates. We're also going to have several books and DVDs available for checkout that will have more information on the development of the King James Bible, and you can always call the library at 773-7273 for more information.